Hello and welcome to League of Champions. I'm Digvijay Singh and Chris Harris is here with me as well. India have played like champions. The defending champions are through to the final of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017 after handing out an absolute hiding to neighbours Bangladesh. And the headline writers will have that dream India-Pakistan final on Sunday. Rohit Sharma got 100, Virat Kohli almost got there, Shikhar Dhawan got runs as well. Chris Harris 265 to get. In the end, it was a walk in the park.
It was, and I'm sure all of India are going, champions, India are champions. Yeah, I mean, they played brilliantly. I mean, it was such a clinical performance. Bangladesh were disappointed. I think to only get 264, should have got 300 plus for the start they had. But wow, what a batting display from India. As clinical as you could get, and I'm sure that particular innings would have made Pakistan very nervous.
Yes, because we have to doff our hats at the way India approached this chase. You know, especially with so much at stake, a couple of wickets falling, it could get tricky, but they've absolutely bossed it.
Yeah, and there was a slight change at the top today. Shikhar Dhawan was the one that really went after the bowling early, and he scored it faster than run a ball, and Rohit Sharma took his time, but he's such a class player. He's just one of those guys that you watch and he looks like he's got so much more time than everyone else. He's such a classical batsman. I was really pleased with him today. He, against South Africa, was told to go for it. Today he had time and he played beautifully. And wow, Kohli, the finisher. Well, I mean, his stats for India chasing games, especially when they win, are phenomenal.
Absolutely, and we'll bring up those stats, but also, you know, just the way you felt, you know, Shikhar Dhawan approached this. As you said, Rohit Sharma didn't come off against Monemoko last time. Shikhar Dhawan went and had the license to go for the bowling. Very unlike India performance, 64 runs in that first 10. They usually go at 4.8.
Yeah, I think it was the nature of the fact that Bangladesh were going to bowl aggressively and attacking. They were going to have attacking fields. So it created a few more gaps for the Indian openers. And I think they're in such terrific form that if you are slightly off the mark, they are going to make you pay. And I think they tried a couple of times to bounce Shikhar Dhawan. He had hit a beautiful pull shot for 4, tried it again, next ball I think, and he hooked him for 6.
Yes.
And it just showed. They did try Bangladesh. As I said, they had those attacking fields. They had to get early wickets, so they had to attack, but it sort of backfired because India are in such terrific form at the top of the order.
Yes, India counter-attacked very well, but one key stat which I really loved was that Bangladesh bowlers did not concede a single extra. Yes, absolutely clinical performance from the Indian team. Let's quickly remind you how this match panned out. India, remember, won the toss and opted to bowl, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar struck early, removing Soumya Sarkar and Shabbir Rahman inside 7 wickets. Tamed Iqbal was lucky to be bowled off a no ball by Hardik Pandya. He broke the shackles after that, and at the other end, the experienced Mushfiqur Rahim played sheet anchor, and Bangladesh got to 159 in 28 overs. Kedar Jadhav then came on to bowl and he stemmed the run flow, sending back Tamim for 70, and he also got Rahim for 61. That gave India a second wind, the bowlers, and regular wickets pegged Bangladesh back. They finished at 265 for 7. As we were telling you, Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma gave India yet another solid start. 87 this time before Dhawan fell for 46. But there was no way back for the Tigers as Rohit Sharma got his 11th one-day 100. Captain Virat Kohli continued his incredible record in chases as he became the fastest to 8,000 ODI runs as India got home in a canter with 59 balls to spare. Rohit not out on 123, Kohli missing out on 100, unbeaten on 96. Okay, we're also now going to look at the scorecard of this match in detail, and it just stares at you in the face that India have chased down 265 in 40.1 overs, Chris, and Bangladesh at one stage looked good for 300, but in hindsight, 300 may not have been enough.
No, it may not have been. The way that India had set this win up, obviously they were chasing, they possibly could have scored 350. But for me, we saw Tamed and Rahim play 2 very, very good innings. But if you go back to that New Zealand game, it took two outstanding innings from the Bangladesh batsmen to win. Now, for me, they were good innings, but they needed to be great. And unfortunately, they just got set. They played very well, but didn't go on. It needed someone to get a big 100 and perhaps
And that's exactly what India did. Rohit Sharma got set, took his time. Shikhar Dhawan was the early aggressor, as you said. But once Rohit Sharma got set, he was not losing his wicket. And Virat Kohli just came in, didn't offer a single chance, and just showed us why he's one of the greatest batsmen of this modern era. Some of the shots, you would just like to frame them in your house if you're a photographer.
it's a bit scary how both of them, Sharma and Kohli, make the game and batting look so easy. They just look like they've got so much time. As I said, it's very scary for Pakistan. The top order is in such tremendous form for India. You don't know how you're going to get them out.
I'm actually going to look through some numbers, and you said it's scary for Pakistan, scary for any team. Now, the Indian top three, Chris, and just hear me out, the Indian top three in this tournament, that's Sharma, Kohli and Dhawan, have together got 874 runs. That's 139 more than the entire Pakistan team has managed in this entire ICC Champions Trophy.
All those numbers say it all. I mean, I would hate to think of the percentage of how many runs they've actually got for India as well. They've been so dominant at the top of the order. They've just set up, I mean, 4 times now, if they hadn't won or rain hadn't intervened, they would have gone well past 300. And that's just the form they're in. And the great thing about being in form, you just got to continue to try and do it. And it's hard to back up every day. But because these three are in terrific form, I mean, I can only think of 2 failures.
There you have it. This is the 79.6% of the runs, Chris.
There you go.
79.6% of the runs scored.
80%. Pakistan's next, which is good news for them at 55, but then 45-37. So 80% of all the runs they've scored in this tournament have been by the top 3. That is incredible on its own. Since
we are talking about the top 3, I'm going to play Rohit Sharma's wagon wheel here. We'll also talk about Virat Kohli and Shikhar Dhawan as well. But Rohit Sharma, we were a bit perhaps harsh on him because we didn't like the way he got out against Monemokal. But that was a clear plan from the Indian team that go and attack him. But again, just look at him on the offside runs, on the leg side runs. I mean, 123 of 129, unbeaten at the end, which is essential.
Yeah, as you said, I think we're a little tough on him in that South African game because he's such a class player and has got so much time and can put the ball away, it seems, whenever he wants to. It just seemed like a bit of a rash shot at the time. But this is why he's such a tough man to bowl to. He's so strong all round the wicket. I mean, he's scored heavily in all areas. So it just shows effectively when he's in form, he doesn't have any weaknesses against fast bowling or slow bowling. And that's just the form that he's in. He's in terrific form and he's certainly making the most of it.
And also that lazy elegance in that sense. And if you see the battle for who will get the most runs, Shikhar Dhawan is ahead, but only just because Rohit Sharma has caught up. Rohit Sharma has 304, Shikhar Dhawan 317. It's a battle between the 2 Indian openers.
Oh, it's incredible. And when your openers are going that well, and then you've got Kohli to back them up at 3, I mean, it's pretty scary for the opposition.
Yes, and we're also going to bring up Shikhar Dhawan's wagon wheel because even though he got 46, and that's a failure by his standards, especially in this tournament, but he did the job that was required. India, 87 was that opening stand. Bangladesh had to get early wickets. What I loved about Shikhar Dhawan is, I think they got the plan wrong to him. They came round the wicket, they kept trying to bounce him, and he kept just hitting them. And there was no fielder there, and you spotted that.
Yeah, I just think I have no problem with the tactics they tried to bowl short and at him because he's very strong on the offside, and as you can see, because he's in terrific form, he now peppered the leg side, and I just think they needed 2 men catching. So rather than the third man, which is his normal strength or one of his strengths, perhaps to put a man back on the hook because he was in such terrific form, he's going to take it on, and they didn't have a man back, and he made them pay.
He made them pay, and when we look at what he's done in this tournament, and we're going to see that graphics on your screens, it will tell us why he's been absolutely essential in India's march to the final, because not just has he scored runs, he's also the highest Indian run scorer in the Champions Trophy, just went ahead of the great Saurav Ganguly as well.
Oh, he's been part of the reason they've got off to great starts, and the thing that I liked today was his innings was a little bit different to normal. He scored 46, I think, off 34 balls,
yes,
which is very much unlike Shikhar Dhawan, but it just shows the form he's in. He didn't take too many risks. He would have been very disappointed to get out because it was a wee bit unlike him. Again, came down the wicket, perhaps didn't need to because he was doing it so easily. But I think that just shows how good a form he is.
And this is his overall record, Chris. 9 matches, 680 runs. Chris Gayle leads this tally with about 790 odd in 17 matches. He's just played 2 Champions Trophies, and this is it. 791 runs for Chris Gayle in 17 matches. Jayawardene 742 in 22. Sangakkara 623 again in 22. Shikhar Dhawan 680 of 9 matches.
That's the key in 9 matches. Most of these figures looks like most people's careers, but I mean, as you said, he's almost catching Sangakkara. We know how good a player he was. He got 683 in 22 matches. And as you rightly said, Shikhar Dhawan, 680 in 9, so it's less than half. So if you work on those stats, if you double them, he's going to be miles ahead of everybody else.
It's like they say in the European Ryder Cup team, irrespective of what form he is, play Ian Poulter when it comes to Ryder Cup. That's what India should do. Just get Shikhar Dhawan around each time there's a Champions Trophy.
The way he's playing at the moment, he should be playing in everything. He's in terrific form and he's making the most of it, which is absolutely key as a batsman because all batsmen will tell you when it's not going your way and you're out of form or out of nick, it just seems you find ways to get out. And it's the same when you're in form. You've just got to score as heavily as you can, because you just never know when, you know, the ball's going to have your number.
You know, Bangladesh knew that this was key. Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma were key. Where do you think the bowlers went wrong? Were the bowling too short, or were India just getting too many easy balls to score off?
As I said at the start, I think Bangladesh had to go searching for wickets, and I think they went searching a little bit too much. I think when they're at their best, they're just very patient, bowling in good areas, and forcing the Indian batsmen to play good shots to good balls. And I think they just tried a little bit too many plans, tried a little bit too hard, and they just gave too many free balls to hit, and it just took the pressure right off the Indians. And as you said, that's the best start of the tournament. I think they were 64 off 10, and that's the fastest they've started. So it even went against their plans, because they were scoring quicker than they were supposed to.
Yes, and if you look at the Sri Lankan bowling card, it was just Mashrafe Mortaza, 8 overs for 29. They used 9 bowlers, Chris, and everyone else just got hammered.
Yeah, to be fair, so what he said is, look, it's not working. So he's gone through all of his bowlers to try and find out if someone's...
Trying to do a Kedar Jadhav.
Exactly. If someone's going to have their day, if someone can get the breakthrough, then he could go back to their main bowlers. But effectively, after that first wicket, they couldn't get another breakthrough.
Yes, and now we've got to look at the man who's an absolute master when it comes to run chases. This is Virat Kohli I'm talking about. Came in, and you think at that stage, okay, maybe a 50, 60, but right at the end, he's always there, 96 not out, and if Rohit had not got 1-4 earlier off, he would have got 100 as well. I mean, just look at this. On either side of the wicket, as you were saying, lots of runs. But the beauty of him was, while Rohit has this lazy elegance, Virat Kohli looks in complete control if he's on the onside or on the offside.
Yeah, I love it. He loves playing with a straight bat, and hence the reason he's got 29 through the straightish cover and 28 through mid-wicket, because he loves playing with a straight bat. The other thing that I love that he does, in a chase especially, he tries to be there at the end and try and take India home. Quite often people get close to the end and think, right, now I can have some fun and get out and put pressure on the next batsman. He takes it upon himself to take responsibility to get India across the line. And is
that what makes him one of these greats? Because he's always there at the end?
Well, he's a great anyway, but that's what makes him even greater. And his figures chasing for India are phenomenal. I think he averages something like about 95.
Yes, I think we're going to have the graphics up on our screens very shortly, and those are absolutely staggering numbers. I think in run chases, his average is 95.20. That means each time India are chasing, you're expecting Kohli to get big runs.
Oh, you are. And I mean, today watching the game and watching especially Kohli and Sharma, their partnership, every time I watched the TV, it was almost like watching the highlights. You think you're watching a highlight package. They had so much time, straight back, and I can't remember either of them really giving a chance or even giving close to a chance. It was just a phenomenal partnership, and they both played beautifully.
Let's look at this. In ODIs, while chasing, he's got 5,000 runs at an average of 66, but in winning chases, and this is the crucial one, in winning chases, that average is 95.20 at a strike rate of close to 100, 1500s, Chris. 1500s and 1750s. That is absolutely outstanding. So that's 32 matches in which he's directly contributed.
Oh, it's scary. And the fact that his average is 95, and as you said, his strike rate, no matter what the conditions, is virtually 100 or just under. 1500s and 1750s. I mean, those numbers say it all. They say how much of a class player he is. We know he's a world-class player, but it appears even better in a winning chase. He's absolutely unmatched.
Absolutely unmatched. But what was unmatched this morning when India bowled was the intent of the Indian bowlers to come back. And I think this win was also set up by the bowlers. Bhuvneshwar Kumar got those 2 early wickets. But as we were talking, there was a stage where Bangladesh came back into the game. It did look... At one stage, it did look that they could get to around 300, and also a complete turnaround in that sense, because Kedar Jadhav came in, bowled some really slow balls, and he got those wickets. And India, to credit to the bowlers, came back strongly after that.
Yeah, I think in the first 10 overs they bowled very well, but to be fair, I think Bangladesh at some stage after that 10 overs realised they had to take it to India, and for reasons we found out later in the game, they knew they had to try and at least score something around 300, if not a few more than that. And I think that's the why they, that particular partnership where they had to play some shots, they played very well, Rahim and Tamed. They had to take some risks, and they played very, very well. But then unfortunately for Bangladesh's point of view, the Indian bowlers put a bit of a stranglehold on them. There was a few dot balls, and then they both got out within 3 overs. But I think you've got to give some credit to the Bangladesh batsmen, because they knew they had to play some shots. They took some risks, it came off, but unfortunately for them, they both got out.
Yes, and that hurt them because right at the end, the last 20 overs, they didn't get too many runs. And at one stage, they were what? In 28 overs, they were 159. But you look at it, in the next 22 overs, they just managed about 100 odd.
Well, that's what I said. They'd set themselves up to get 300 plus. But when you lose wickets, especially towards the end of the innings, it makes it very hard for players to come in and strike the ball well right from the end. So, look, for me, they lost too many wickets in that middle phase where they really need to just carry on and do what they were doing. A couple too many risks.
You know, before this match, Virat Kohli was asked, you know, are you scared or are you upset that your lower middle order hasn't got that many runs? And he continued to back Kedar Jadhav, saying he's an absolute match winner. He probably wasn't referring to Kedar Jadhav, the match winner with the ball, because that Kedar Jadhav spell, 6 overs, 20 odd for 2 wickets, was extremely key. This is it, 6 overs, 2 for 22, an economy of 3.66. And just 1 4 conceded. This is a part-time bowler. For him to concede just 1 boundary shows that it worked.
Well, it shows that perhaps they can use him a little bit more because he's a bit of a wicket-taking sensation at the moment, and he was very economical. He was the reason that India only chased 265 rather than possibly 310. And I think the reason that Kohli said he's not worried about his middle or lower order is because it looks as though this tournament they're not even going to bat.
Another bowler who was excellent, and you know, there's this talk, but why does Jasprit Bumrah do very well when India bowl first and not when India chase? But this is his first spell, and he had 2 very crucial spells. The first spell, outstanding, you know, 5 overs, 1 maiden, 12 runs, no wickets, absolutely shackled Tameem Iqbal. I mean, Tameem Iqbal was the danger man for India. At one stage, Tameem had got what? In 30 balls, he only had 11 runs.
Yeah, he's a very aggressive player, and that just shows how well Bumrah bowled in the first 10 overs. As I said, I thought both bowled very well. Kumar picked up a couple of wickets, which was a bit more expensive. But part of the reason...
1 over. I think he got tonked by Rahim in 1 over for 3 boundaries.
Yeah, part of the reason he picked up the wickets was because Bumrah was so tight at the other end. They just couldn't get him away, so they tried to take a few risks against Kumar, and obviously he picked up the wicket. So he was exceptional in the first 5 overs, and I thought he was pretty good at the end as well.
Yes, and he came back after that as well. I think after 8 overs, his figures read none for 22 for 22. So that just showed that, you know, how much control he had. And the good thing about Bumrah was, as you said, he was getting those dot balls in. And then what we saw from him later was that even when he went for a few runs, he could immediately find that Yorker again.
Yeah, well, he's one of the best death bowlers. I think if you look at that innings, the only time he got hurt was when he was really unlucky if they got a little inside edge that went past Dhoni, or if he tried to bowl short, and that's when he got hurt a couple of times. One was a top edge over the keeper and one went through wide mid off. But when he hits that Yorker and he gets it right, he's one of the hardest guys to hit at the end. So he is massive for India, especially at the end of the innings.
Yes, you know, at the beginning of this match, all the talk was India, big brother, Bangladesh wanting to be treated as equals. India showed them why they are the big brothers. Also, you get a feeling that Bangladesh, unused to this stage, India very much champions of, you know, getting to the business end of tournaments. Bangladesh's inexperience, in a sense, hurt them.
Yeah, it did. It certainly did, and on the big occasion. But I think what's good for Bangladesh is the more they can get themselves in this situation where it's a big match situation, they will get better. And I just hope that they learn from this. And if they just look, and perhaps they'll replay the game and go over it, and just see how important it was that they lost those wickets. Not only losing Tamin, but then Rahim going straight out basically after him, which basically took away the game really. It meant they weren't going to get anywhere near 300, and that was the difference.
That was the difference. So Bangladesh, sadly, going home, they've entertained us, they've entertained the world of cricket, and they've shown that they're no longer the minnows. On this point, I'm going to take a break. Chris and I will try to catch our breath. We'll come back with just a bit more.